Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining this morning to Bhagavatam class and attentive japa. We'll do 2 rounds as always, and if you like, you can offer your rounds to His Grace Panjangri Prabhu, who's quite seriously ill at the moment due to COVID-19. So we'll do that after the class. Let's make a start now. So last week, week before, we were talking about the disappearance of Lord Krishna, and then we discussed that Maharaj Yudhishthira and the Pandavas, everybody, they had also decided to retire, and they were going north to basically give up their material life. And Maharaj Parikshit became the ruler of Hastinapur and most of the world, and he was naturally empowered by the Lord as the ruling potency of the Lord, and he was so special that the Lord Krishna protected him while he was still in the mother's womb, as we all know in Mahabharata. So he was a very important personality. And now today we're talking about the principal signs of the age of Kali. So let's do a prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Karoti Vachanam Pangum Lamritakrim Yadkripatam Vande Shri Guru Tir Taranam Paramanta Madhavam Shitanya Ishwaram Hariyam Tassat Narayanam Naskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Padriyatam Nasta Prayesha Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavad Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhagavati Nestiki. Hare Krishna. So when the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, left this earthly planet in his self-same form, from that very day, Kali, who had already partially appeared, became fully manifest to create inauspicious conditions for those who are endowed with a pure fund of knowledge. So as we said that before, while Lord Krishna was here, Kali could not manifest itself completely. So it waited for Lord Krishna to go, and then Pandavas went, and it gave more opportunity for Kali to manifest itself. It could manifest, but it couldn't really spread while Maharaj Parikshit was here as well. So the influence of Kali can be enforced only upon those who are not fully developed in God consciousness. One can neutralize the effects of Kali by keeping oneself fully under the supreme care of the personality of Godhead. So this is a formula given that Kali is now here since 5,000 years, but anybody who takes the protection of the Lord cannot be influenced by Kali. Suta Goswami said, after reaching that place, Maharaj Parikshit observed that the lower caste Shudra, so Maharaj Parikshit is now the king, and he was traveling, and he saw in his travels that a lower caste Shudra, dressed like a king, was beating a cow and a bull with a club as if they had no owner. The principal sign of Kali is that lower caste Shudras, men without Brahminical culture and spiritual initiation, will be dressed like administrators or kings, and the principal business of such non-Kshatriyas rulers will be to kill the innocent animals, especially the cows and the bulls. And we've seen that very prominent. Who shall be unprotected by their masters, the bona fide Vaishyas, the mercantile community? In the Bhagavad-Gita 1844, it is said that the degraded Vaishyas are meant to deal in agriculture, cow protection and trade. In the age of Kali, the degraded Vaishyas, the mercantile men, are engaged in supplying cows to slaughterhouses. So instead of protecting them, they are actually encouraging it. The Kshatriyas are meant to protect the citizens of the state, whereas the Vaishyas are meant to protect the cows and bulls and utilize them to produce grains and milk. The cow is meant to deliver milk, and the bull is meant to produce grains. So this bull that Maharaj Parikshit saw, the bull was as white as a white lotus flower. He was terrified of the Shudra who was beating him, and he was so afraid that he was standing on one leg, trembling and urinating. The next symptom of Kali is that principles of religion, which are all spotlessly white, like the white lotus flower, will be attacked by uncultured Shudra population of the age. So this is the. So first we said that you get lower caste Shudras dressed like administrators. That's the sign of Kali, and then you get that the principles of religion, like the bull, will be attacked by uncultured Shudra population of the age. They may be descendant of Brahman or Kshatriya forefathers, but in the age of Kali, for want of sufficient education and culture of Vedic wisdom, such a Shudra-like population will defy the principles of religion. And persons who are religiously endowed will be terrified by such men. They will declare themselves as adherents of no religious principles, and many isms and cults will spring up in Kali Yuga, only to kill the spotless bull of religion. The citizen will be free to act as they like, without respect for sadhu, shastra and guru. The bull standing on one leg indicates that the principles of religion are gradually diminishing. So although the cow is beneficial because one can draw religious principles from her, she was now rendered poor and calfless. Her legs were being beaten by a Shudra. There were tears in her eyes, and she was distressed and weak. She was hankering after some grass in the field. So the next symptom of Kali is the distressed condition of the cow. Milking the cow means drawing the principles of religion in a liquid form. The great rishis and munis would live only on milk. Srila Sukdev Goswami would go to a householder while he was milking a cow, and he would simply take a little quantity of it for subsistence. Even 100 years ago, no one would deprive a sadhu of a quart or two of milk, and every householder would give milk like water. For a Sanatanist, a follower of Vedic principles, it is the duty of every householder to have cows and bulls as household paraphernalia, not only for drinking milk but also for driving religious principles. The Sanatanist worships cows and religious principles and respects Brahmanas. So if you keep the cow happy, you look after it, give it respect, then you're already following the principles of religion. The cow's milk is required for the sacrificial fire, and by performing sacrifices the householder can be happy. The cow's calf not only is beautiful to look at, but also gives satisfaction to the cow, and so she delivers as much milk as possible because she is happy with having a child there in front of her. But in the Kali Yuga, the calves are separated from the cows as early as possible. The cow stands with the tears in her eyes. The Shudra milkman draws milk from the cow artificially, and when there is no milk, the cow is sent to be slaughtered. Despite all endeavors for peace and prosperity, they must try to see the cows and the bulls happy in all respects. Foolish people don't know how one earns happiness by making the cows and bulls happy, but it's a fact by the law of nature. So we are connected to the cows and bulls. We keep them happy. We can naturally also find happiness as well. Maharaj Parikshit, well equipped with arrows and bow and seated on a gold embossed chariot, spoke to him, the Shudra who was beating, with a deep voice sounding like thunder. Oh, who are you? You to be strong, and yet you dare kill within my protection those who are helpless. By your dress you pose yourself to be a godly man, but by your deeds you are opposing the principles of the twice-born Kshatriyas. You rogue, do you dare beat an innocent cow because Lord Krishna and Arjun, the carrier of Gandiv bow, are out of sight? Since you are beating the innocent in a secluded place, you are considered a culprit and therefore deserve to be killed. And then Maharaj Parikshit asked the bull, Oh, who are you? Are you a bull as white lotus, or are you demigod? You have lost 3 of your legs and are moving on only one. Are you some demigod causing us grief in the form of a bull? O son of Surabhi, you need lament no longer now. There is no need to fear this low-class Shudra. And O mother cow, as long as I am living as the ruler and subduer of all envious men, there is no cause for you to cry. Everything will be good for you. So, O greatest among human beings, it is very difficult to ascertain the particular miscreant who has caused our suffering. So Maharaj Parikshit was asking you, who are you and why is your condition like this? And the bull replies, O greatest among human beings, it is very difficult to ascertain the particular miscreant who has caused our sufferings, because we are bewildered by all the different opinions of theoretical philosophers. Although the bull, or the personality of religion, and the cow, the personality of earth, knew perfectly well that the personality of Kali was a direct cause of their sufferings. Still, as devotees of the Lord, they knew well also that without the sanction of the Lord, no one could inflict trouble upon them. So, according to the Padma Puran, our present trouble is due to the fructifying of seedling sins, but even those seedling sins also gradually fade away by execution of pure devotion service. Thus, even if the devotees see them mischief mongers, they don't accuse them for the sufferings inflicted. So they take it for granted that the mischief monger is made to act by some indirect cause, and therefore they tolerate the suffering, thinking them to be God-given in small doses. Excuse me. For otherwise the suffering should have been greater. So that should be the mental attitude, the subtle attitude, that we don't, if we have some conflict, we don't blame the other person. We think, well, we must have done something wrong as well now or in the past life, and we're paying for that. So we don't point fingers. We try to think, what did I do wrong that this has happened? And the king said, "Oh, you who are in the form of a bull, you know the truth of religion, and you are speaking according to the principle that the destination intended for the perpetrator and religious acts is also intended for one who identifies the perpetrator. You are no other than the personality of religion." So a devotee's conclusion is that no one is directly responsible for being a benefactor or mischief monger. So without the sanction of the Lord, therefore he does not consider anyone to be directly responsible for such action. But in both the cases, he takes it for granted that either benefit or loss is God sent, and it is God's mercy in every respect. And thus it is His grace. In case of benefit, no one will deny that is God sent, but in the case of loss or reverses, one becomes doubtful about how the Lord could be so unkind to his devotee as to put him in great difficulty. That is the way of accepting a thing, either favorable or unfavorable. Thus, for a devotee, the identifier is equally a sinner like the mischief monger. By God's grace, the devotee tolerates all reverses. Maharaj Parikshit observed this, and therefore he could understand that the bull was no other than the person of religion himself. In other words, a devotee has no suffering at all, because so-called suffering is also God's grace for a devotee who sees God in everything. So, it is very difficult for us to accept that or to have that mentality, but this is what the scriptures recommend. So in the age of Satya, in the truthfulness, that's the age of Satya, your four legs were established by the four principles of austerity, cleanliness, mercy and truthfulness. But it appears that three of your legs are broken due to rampant religion in the form of pride, lust for women and intoxication. Now you are standing on one leg only, which is your truthfulness, and you are somehow or other hobbling along. But quarrel personified Kali, flourishing by deceit, is also trying to destroy that final leg as well. So this bull could stand on one leg because he was a demigod, basically. Is the demigod of religion. So he had the ability to stand on one leg, but the age of Kali is trying to also break that leg as well, make him totally immobile. Austerity means to accept voluntary things. So Prabhupada explains what each of these four regulations mean. Austerity means to accept voluntary things which may not be very comfortable for the body, but are conducive for spiritual realization. For example, fasting twice or 4 times a month is a sort of austerity which may be voluntarily accepted for spiritual realization. Similarly, cleanliness is necessary both for the mind and for the body. Simply bodily cleanliness may help to some extent, but cleanliness of the mind is necessary, and it is affected by glorifying the Supreme Lord. No one can cleanse the accumulated mental dust without glorifying the Supreme Lord. So the principles of religion don't stand on some dogmas or man-made formulas, but they stand on four primary regulative observances, as we mentioned: austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. So by pride, either artificial or real, the resultant action of austerity is spoiled. By too much affection for female association, cleanliness is spoiled. By too much addiction to intoxication, mercy is spoiled. And by too much lying propaganda, truthfulness is spoiled. So the mass of people must be taught to practice these principles from childhood. The resultant action of human civilization in the age of Kali is dissatisfaction. So everyone is anxious to get peace of mind. This peace of mind was complete in the Satyayug because the existence of the above mentioned attributes of the human beings. Now gradually these attributes have diminished, like in the Treta Yuga to 3/4, in the Dwapar Yuga to half, and this age of Kali to 1/4, which is also gradually diminishing on account of prevailing untruthfulness. By pride, either artificial or real, the resultant action of the austerity is spoiled. By too much affection, as we mentioned, female association, cleanliness is spoiled. So Maharaj Parikshit, who could fight 1,000 enemies single-handedly, thus pacified the personality of religion and the earth. And then he took up his sharp sword to kill the personality of Kali, who is the cause of all religion. So this is where we finish today. We can discuss this further next week, when we talk about the punishment and reward of Kali. So Maharaj Parikshit is about to kill this Kali, who has caused this degradation in the principle of religion. And he said, how can that be possible while I am ruling on this planet? So he wants to just kill the personality of Kali. So thank you so much, and let's see what we can benefit from this now. Jai. Hare Krishna. So thank you for joining, Rukmini Mataji, iPhone, Prabhu Mataji, Jai Prabhu, Parveen Mataji, Sarveshya Mataji, Venkat Prabhu. Hare Krishna. We'll start with Venkat Prabhu. Prabhuji, what do you find, anything from there useful? Okay, maybe he's traveling.
Sorry, Prabhu. I took time to unmute myself.
That's okay. Anything?
Yeah, thanks, Prabhu. Nothing, Prabhu. Thanks for your association and the time. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Ravi. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hanji Mataji.
I just wanted to know, I forgot this. You said 4 legs were, what were the signs of the 4 legs?
What was the signs of 4 legs? Oh,
the 3 legs were cut, no? And only 1 was remaining.
yes.
So what were they means? Every legs were meaning something, no? You said.
Yeah, austerity, mercy, truthfulness, things like that.
Austerity,
yeah,
mercy,
and mercy. So these are the 4 legs. Only the truthfulness is now left. Everything else is more or less destroyed. There is not much mercy. You can see, everybody's eating meat and burgers, and it's all around the world. It's so popular. They're slaughtering cows. So mercy is quite low. Austerity is not great. Nobody's austerity in any way now either. And to be honest, you got some truthfulness still left, and the reason we can say that there is some truthfulness still left is because when somebody does something wrong, you hear about these bogus gurus and other people, when they blaspheme somebody, people do look down at them, that yes, this person is degraded. So we still respect truthfulness. This is what we are saying. The other three things people are taking advantage of right now. It's not so prominent, but truthfulness is still, there's still room for truthfulness, but slowly that's, the with generations is getting diluted. You see. So there is a representation of the four regulations we follow. You see why Prabhupada gave us these four regulations, because he wants to bring us back to purity. He wants to bring it back into Satya Yuga, in the mode of goodness. That's what Prabhupada. Because if we want to go back home, then we have to be purified. Otherwise, Krishna doesn't accept us. And to do that, we have to be following the four regulations and keeping pure like that. We should be truthful. We should have mercy. We should have austerity. So very, very important. And especially cleanliness is also very important, which we do when we're doing deity service. We try. This is one of the reasons for doing deity service, so we can practice being clean, and also our thoughts should be clean as well. Does that make sense?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. And you want to add anything else, Mataji? Okay. Jai Prabhu?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. I mean, this Kali Yuga started the day Krishna appeared and will end when Lord Kalki appears in about 450,000 years. So, I mean, I don't know whether this Kali Yuga has any significance above the others, because I mean, in other Kali Yugas, I don't think the Lord will be descending. This story tells about, there's four key characters in this. Maharaj Parikshit, the bull, who represents religion or dharma, the cow, who represents Mother Earth, and the Sudra, who's dressed as a king or whatever, who represents is a personality for Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, a sign is that Sudras will dress as kings, and the principal business will be to kill innocent animals, especially cows and bulls, and the Vaishyas, who are supposed to actually protect cows and bulls, will actually supply them for slaughter. So Maharaj Parikshit sees the cow and the bull being battered by the Sudra. Maharaj Parikshit noticed the bull was standing on just the one leg. So as you already said, these four legs of the bull represent the four principles of religion: austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. And only the truthfulness leg he was still standing on. So I mean, I think you said was it austerity? As a result of austerity is diminished because of what did he say? Because of pride, and mercy was diminished because of intoxication. Isn't that the wrong way around? Because isn't austerity?
You're quite right, because that's how, for some reason, it's written like that. But I always understood that intoxication was austerity.
Yeah, it could be.
I have read it before, but for some reason in the Bhagavatam it was written like that. I don't know why, but it's mentioned. Yeah. But I agree with you totally. That austerity, because I understood it what I've read before, that you don't, if you have problems, you don't try to avoid them by drinking. Okay, so that's your austerity. That you face problems head on, and you also rely on Krishna for your problems, not on alcohol. So that was your austerity. Yeah, you're right. So good point. You picked up on that. But I wanted to say as it was written, and I didn't want to change it. But nice of you to have checked that. So you're usually listening nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is some places it's written like that, other places it's written the other way that you mentioned. Now, I agree, austerity is about controlling the drinking side. That a lot of people rely on cigarettes and booze, because it makes them wash away their problems, or that they can get out of their problems for a while. But you're supposed to face the problems, and that was the reason I had read before as well. Thank you.
The only other thing I was going to say, religion can't be based on any man-made principles. It's based on the observance of these 4 principles. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Babaji. Thank you. Okay, we have Partha Prabhu. You want to add anything about this? Anna, you just joined, but would you like to say something about the principles of religion and the 4 regulations and the perpetrator of who causes who's a miscreant?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, nothing. Actually, I just want to listen to all the realizations.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that's fine. Okay, Parveen Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Well, the way I feel is I think all the 4 legs are broken, because I don't see even there is any truthfulness, because you're deceived by even your near and dear ones. So it's now you come to a point and see, is anybody telling the truth? The way I look at things. So
Yeah, I mean
it's
sorry, carry on. Then.
it's very hard, because like we are God conscious, Krishna conscious, and we trust everybody, and then
Yeah.
and then sometimes you're taken advantage of that as well. So but then I see we are doing with the right intention, and then but Krishna also says, like Hindi, thagna bhi paap hai aur thage jana bhi paap hai. So matlab, sometimes we feel we are being deceived, hai na bhi. So I don't know, that's my opinion. So I think all 4 legs are broken. Even the gurus, like, if they're doing something wrong, so how long does it take for the things to come out, and then how many of them are not exposed, really, we don't know. And then we think it's not right to speak against something if you feel somebody's doing something wrong. So that's a dilemma, because then you think you're committing a prad as well if you say something.
Yeah, actually, Srila Prabhupada says that we should, if we see something wrong, we should report it on the basis that somebody else doesn't suffer.
Mm.
Because if somebody is allowed to get away with something, thinking, oh, he's a perpetrator, and we report him, we point finger at him, then we will also get the same result as him. But it is important to report because otherwise the person will carry on doing whatever he done.
Yeah,
He will
exactly.
do else because he thinks
Because
he's got a free.
they think they're getting away. Yeah, but the thing is now, Prabhu, the way I look at it, it's hard to find who you can confide to either. So it's very hard. You don't find people where you can confide.
Mm-hmm. You're quite right. See, the thing is, it's not just about truthfulness. We do have the 4 defects, and one of those defects is we have a cheating propensity. It's natural. We try to cheat. We try to cheat ourselves, and we try to cheat other people. Not saying in a gross way, but in a subtle way. It's just natural for us to cheat. Have this cheating habit. So that may seem to the other person that I have been let down by this person, but
Yeah.
you have to be careful how much you confide in others. I think
Yeah.
that you can test somebody, with something minor, and see how they, is it passed on, or what happens, and don't just confide in somebody head first. Don't go just straight in there and confide in somebody. You have to test people first. That is this person reliable? Is he likely in my confidence? Like the loving exchanges we talk about by Rupa Goswami. So
Yeah.
you test the person first, and then you confide. And I also hear that if you are confiding in somebody, then you expect them to confide in you as well.
Yeah.
love in exchange is not one-way thing that you tell them everything and they don't tell you anything. And some people are like
Mm.
that. They want to hear from you everything,
Yeah, yeah,
but they don't want to tell you anything, isn't it?
yeah,
So you
yes, yeah.
don't confide in those people because they just want to hear gossip. They just want something they can talk about with somebody else. So yeah, if somebody is giving you their confidential details as well, then you are both vulnerable, isn't it? That person is less likely to discuss about you somebody else
Mm,
because he knows
mm,
that she has also given you her in inside story. So you
yeah.
also do the same. So they'll be just as vulnerable as you are. So they like less likely. But if somebody else is not giving you their information, then you don't confide in those people that they think there could be danger
Mm,
in the future.
yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah, because like you find people are like, I should use the word crafty, because like in experience when I was very young, like the family members, like especially one person, was so crafty. They'll say things, and because they want you to, you know, you say yes as well, because yeah, you have felt that, you have experienced that, and then they'll go back and say, oh, so and so said this, because they are completely out of picture, and then they're just reporting you because you said it. So I think, well, that's how, now I'm looking, people are probably doing that. So you find like you can't really tell anybody anything, so
Yeah.
you just have to suffer in silence. Yeah. Yeah, that's true, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
It's even the close ones. I've had experience with very, very close relations who you trust blindly, and
You shouldn't.
they've done that
I'm
to
saying
you.
you can't trust people blindly. You have
Yeah.
to use some intelligence and be sure that
Mm.
what I'm telling this person is not going to go forward. So you have to.
Yeah. No, but some relations are like you trust, like, okay, she's my mother or she's my sister, like people who are very close to your heart, who you've done everything for them, and then they turn back and do bad things to you, then you lose the trust. So then,
Yeah, I mean, once trust is lost, then it
yeah, yeah.
be.
With the finances as well, people will just make up stories because they just want, yeah, to help. And then you realize, hang on a second, they're not that bad as they are making it. But then it's too late, you've done everything, and then after that they say, oh well, nobody's done anything for us. Hang on a second, I've been giving you all this money, so what happened to that? So
You're quite right. I mean,
yeah.
you see that especially in the modern society that. And it's very surprising to see when you see. Sometimes I see like a profile of somebody I know. The whole family having a picture together, this and that. Is usually the husband and wife and the kids or deities.
Mm,
But then you might, then I have a customer and they had the like three generations, and he was like taking a picture uh, together, and it's very nice to see that people are still together
yes.
because the reason
Yeah. Yeah.
is people have drifted apart and nobody wants to know anybody because it's just too dangerous.
Mm,
It's become very
mm,
because you can't trust your own family, and that they let you
mm,
down, they talk behind your back, or they magnify things, make you look bad.
mm,
So yeah,
mm,
and this is why people have like, especially in the European countries, people just mind their own business now. They don't, even families are shrunk because of that.
mm.
So
Yeah, it's a shame because like because I think I always feel people who are like with good conscience or God conscious, they are the one who suffer, because we do things with love, because we treat because like we see God in everybody, and we want to treat everybody nicely. So I don't know, this is my personal experience, and now we think, yeah, we only want to deal with Krishna, but we're still like attached, and we're still doing things. But then we try not to expect anything, because you can't expect anything really
mhm.
nice from anybody.
See, the thing, you're saying that you have to suffer in silence, you can't discuss, but you might be sharing confidential information. The other person might, even their relative, they think you just loading off on them as well.
Mm,
You have to look at it from their point of view that I just loading off on them your problems that they don't really want to know. Or
mm,
I think because you're saying that you have to suffer in silence. Well, that's just the way it is. We
mm,
rely on Krishna. and see the suffering as mercy of the Lord, to be honest. So the
Yeah.
scripture will help us in that way. Suffering doesn't mean that, now a problem shared is problem half, but it's doubled as well from what you tell me, because they just go
Yeah.
by your issues that you mentioned. So
Yeah, but the way I look at it is also because that makes you stronger as well.
yeah,
Then so like I always say thank you God. Yeah, okay, if we've gone through hardships, that has made us like stronger. So
yeah. But it's always better to see everything from the eyes of the scriptures. If we see everything from the eyes of the scriptures, then yeah, you will understand everything, and you will not feel the way that we can feel about what's happening to us. You understand better what's happening if you see them as the scriptures. And you got to understand as well, Krishna is Hari. He wants to take away our attachments, whether they're financial or emotional, whatever they are. He wants to take them away, and this is the only way for you to progress. Because if we are attached to material things, whether they're wealth or family or our own body, then we are in the material conception. We can't move forward because we
yeah.
in the material way. So anything that happens when you're a devotee, you're chanting, and anything that happens has to be is hard, I know, but we have to practice to see things from the as mercy of the Lord. And that's what it says, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, just see it as a mercy of the Lord. And sooner or later you start accepting, because the mind takes time to accept things. But when you practice, by practicing, you get into that mode and you see things as the mercy of the Lord, and then it's not that painful, and you can share your problem with Krishna. If you're a devotee, then share your problem with Krishna, because he's not going to go and anybody.
Mm. Yeah, but what I've experienced from when we're chanting sincerely, now these things really don't matter. So you just Krishna does raise you above all these things then, because you see this is nothing. So and sometimes you feel like is these things were not even worth worrying about, what like we used to get upset about. So you do get that mercy and you feel better.
Yeah. In Bhagavad-Gita, Lord says that all these distress and these things, that they're like the seasons, the winter,
Mm,
and they come and go, just like bad things come to us uninvited, good things also, happiness also comes uninvited.
mm,
We have
mm,
we don't live in these things, we live with these things, right? Distress, we live with it, not in it. You can't
mm,
roast in distress. We look at it from the outside, we observe it, that it's there, and soon it will go away. Sometimes you get pain or emotional pain in the heart, in the mind. You just don't get engrossed in it. Just say, okay, it will pass, it will pass. It happens whether it's a man or a woman. Things can be very hurtful sometimes, but you think, okay, let it go. It's like any other pain. It will go, and it goes. God has built us like that. We are strong. That soon
mm.
the pain goes away. It's in the back of our mind then, and it doesn't hurt as much. So thank you so much, Mataji. We're just gonna have
Yeah, thank you.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Sureshi Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Of all the yugas, the age of Kali is the most condemned and degraded because it has many faults like hypocrisy, envy, jealousy, cheating, quarrel, lazy, misguided. People are very, very disturbed. And they forgot the aim of life, what your life is about. Instead of going back to Godhead, they like to enjoy themselves in sense gratification. They've forgotten the aim of life. And then Kali lasts for 4,000 430,000 years. And at about 5,300 years just passed. And we've got very short life, say about 100 years we've got. And in Satyug, people used to live 100,000 years, and then they used to meditate, and in Treta, they 10,000 years, and then they did yagna, and in Dwapar, they people used to live 10,000 years, they mandir puja. But we got very short life. That's why we got shortcut. We got very easily way of doing it by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantras, and it is the same as doing meditation in Satyug and Yagna in the Treta and Mandir Puja in Dwapara. And there's the four major vices or faults in Kali Yuga. That is meat eating, gambling, intercastation, and illicit sex. Just leave that all comes in. Then austerity, truthfulness, mercy, and cleanness is all come in there. So to avoid that, all these things, I mean, we have given 4 principles to avoid in ISKCON. That meat eating, gambling, intoxication, and illicit sex. So we can follow the dharma, little bit what we can follow, and it's the 4 legs of religion. And that's what I can say. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. Yes, correct. And I like the way you said we got a shortcut.
Yes, I loved it as well, Mataji. That was so positive.
Yeah, we have this shortcut, and we still find that very long, very difficult.
So brilliant.
So, yeah, you're quite right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. So we want to chant 2 rounds now, especially Mataji, if you want to start, and then Rukmini Mataji, and also if you want, anybody wants to offer their rounds to Pachangari Prabhu, please do so. So he's the head Pujari in Mayapur, the 2 brothers, and he's not very well at the moment, and he's not improving a lot. So we want to do some chanting for him, and see, pray to Lord Krishna to help him. And I think some of the devotees are missing today because he's our Japta Kamaraj Guru Maharaj is the Vyas Puja taking place at the moment, and so I had some apologies come that they were just on that group at the moment. So thank you so much. Okay, Sweshi Mataji.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Sri Mati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaura Pani Ticharne Nirvishesa Swanyabadi Paschata Desatarne. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasti Gaura Bhakta Binda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare,